Hello, this is Steve Langevich. Today we're talking about Project 2, the command line. And in this project we needed to make a single command that will make multiple directories, copy in pictures from another directory, and make multiple reports as well. So before we run it, we'll do a ls command, and we see there's just a bash script in there. So we'll go ahead and run that. That's the single command that the user will use. And if we do another ls, we see there's another folder called Sandbox in there. Looking in there, we have multiple reports and files. So if we look at one of these reports, we can see it's ls long, and the results were outputted into this file. And it shows the rights, the creator, dates, times, and file names. If we look in images, we see there's two pictures in there. So let's take a look at this script and see what happened and how it worked. So right at the top we have a make directory command. The P will also make all the folders inside the... If a folder's not available, it'll make that. So we didn't have Sandbox to start, but we wanted to make CSS. So it made both the folders here. Next we changed the directory into Sandbox and created images and scripts folder. We also had to make a file named index. So to do that we used the touch command. The cp command copies files from another folder, and in this case it's under var www images. We have logo 1 and 2. Then in the second part of that we copied it into the current working directory, which in this case was Sandbox, and put in the images folder. This command changes the directory back to the original directory where that was run from, and we then changed the permissions on the Sandbox directory. So the capital R represents recursive, so that means it'll change every other file, folder, anything else in the Sandbox directory. We also gave it 711, and what that means is the owner will have read, write, and executable permissions, while group and other users only have read. Can only execute. So group and users can execute, while the owner can read, write, and execute. So after the permissions are changed, we changed it back to the Sandbox directory. And in this part we wrote the information into our reports. So what we did here was use a ls command with a long listing, which shows greater detail on every file. We then used a meta character, which is a redirect, and this redirected into the file web listing. Now this file wasn't a thing before this command ran. So what it also did was create the file, so we didn't have to use a touch command. So that's another feature of the redirects. They'll make a file if unavailable. The next one we did the same thing, but instead we searched the main directory where the images were originally, then use a grep command that looked for any ping files, and then redirected that into available images, and it made that file as well. And this also used the pipe command. So basically with this, any command that's on the left, the results are then piped into the command on the right. So the long listing in this directory was then used by the grep command, which then searched for any ping files, which then placed in available images. So we'll back out of here. Then we'll discuss a couple other meta characters. One is the $sign. And we can see here on the command line it has the $sign. That represents we have normal privilege. Another one is the number sign. It looks like a hashtag symbol too. That means it's a root user, and that means you have advanced privileges. You have root access. Another type of meta character is a wildcard. In this instance, asterisk. So to demonstrate that, we'll change back a directory, and we'll do a ls search with anything that starts with a Q. So in this case it pulled up 3 files, they all start with Q, and if we do a regular ls search, it also shows a PR folder, a project folder. So in that instance it pulled anything with a Q. Anything after that didn't care. That's what the wildcard represents. Next I'm going to demonstrate moving a file. So in this case we'll do MV, we'll move the QWERTY file into, actually, so if we run this, it'll move QWERTY from the current directory into the PR2 directory. So if we do another ls, we see QWERTY is missing. If we change directories, run another ls, we have QWERTY in there. And lastly, we'll cover changing a password. So to enter this mode, we'll type in passwd. It'll ask for your current password, and it'll ask for a new password. But I currently like my password, it's changed from the original, so we'll just clear out of this. That covers everything from Project 2. I hope you enjoyed.